Well, look at them now, desperately, trying to move on, clinging to anything or anyone who can make them forget. But the joke's on them, isn't it? Because they haven't moved on. They haven't escaped. No, they've made a new friend, a loyal and unwavering companion who's been with them every single step of the way, in their darkest moments, and it's a friend who never leaves, always there in the shadows, always reminding them of what they did, of what they could have done differently, a constant reminder of failure, a shadow that stretches long across their life, a shadow called regret. They thought they could outrun it, didn't they? They thought they could find some way to push it aside, to bury it so deep inside that it would never surface again. But regrets aren't like that. No, regrets don't go away. They don't fade into the background. They don't disappear when you look the other way. Regret digs itself in deeper and deeper until it becomes a part of you, until it takes root in your soul and in your mind, until it is as much a part of you as your heartbeat, your breath, your every thought. At first, maybe they thought they could fight it. Maybe they thought they could silence the voices in their heads, telling them they were wrong, telling them they had messed up, telling them they had crossed a line they could never come back from. Maybe they thought they could make a new start, erase the past. But no, the past doesn't let you go that easily, does it? It doesn't care how hard you try to run, how far you go. How many people you try to surround yourself with, the past is always there. And when you're alone, when you're quiet, when the world slows down and the distractions fade away, that's when regret whispers the loudest. It's when it catches you in the dead of night, when it grabs hold of your throat and drags you back to that one moment, that one decision, that one choice that has haunted you ever since. Regret doesn't need your forgiveness. It doesn't need your apologies. It doesn't need you to acknowledge it. It just needs to exist. And it will keep existing whether you want it to or not, whether you accept it or not. Regret will stay because it is the price you pay for every mistake, for every decision made in haste, for every word left unsaid, for every opportunity missed, for every lie you told, for every person you hurt, for every moment you wasted chasing something that wasn't worth it. Oh, they might have told themselves that they would never make the same mistake again. They might have promised themselves that they would be different, that they would make better choices, that they would learn from the past. But that's the beauty of regret, isn't it? It doesn't care about your promises. It doesn't care about your resolve. It doesn't care how hard you try to change. Because every time you make a new decision, you're making a new mistake. And regret is waiting for you every single time, with open arms, ready to embrace you, ready to remind you that no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter how much you try to forget, regret will always be there to remind you of your failures, to remind you of your choices that led you to where you are today. The people they thought would save them, the people they thought would pull them out of the darkness, the people they thought would be the key to escaping their past. They only gave them temporary distractions, didn't they? They only gave them moments of fleeting relief, a fleeting sense of peace before the storm came crashing down, again and again and again. But that's the thing about regret, isn't it? It doesn't go away because someone else distracts you. It doesn't go away because someone else tells you that it's okay. It doesn't go away because you found new people to fill the void inside of you. Regret stays, and it stays with a vengeance. It stays until you face it, until you stop running, until you stop pretending that it doesn't matter, that it doesn't affect you, that you can just push it aside like some insignificant thing. But it's not insignificant, is it? No, regret is everything. Regret is the weight that drags you down the anchor that keeps you stuck in the past, that keeps you locked in a cycle of self-doubt and self-loathing. Regret is the thing that holds you back from moving forward, from embracing the future, from finding peace within yourself. Regret is the thing that keeps you in chains even when you think you're free. So they keep moving, don't they? They keep running. They keep trying to bury themselves in new experiences, new relationships, new jobs, new distractions, anything to drown out the sound of regret. But the more they run, the louder regret gets. The more they try to bury it, the more it rises to the surface, and the more they try to forget, the more it reminds them of their shortcomings, their mistakes, their inability to change, their inability to escape. They don't get it. Do they? They don't get that. There is no running from regret. There is no outrunning it. There is no escaping it. There is only acceptance. There is only facing it head on and acknowledging that it is a part of you now, that it is something you carry with you every single day, and that the only way to move forward is to accept that you've made your choices. You've paid the price, and now you have to live with the consequences of your actions. But they can't do it. Can they? They can't face it. They can't confront the reality of their own mistakes. They can't admit that they are who they are because of the things they've done, the things they've said, the paths they've chosen, the chances they didn't take, the people they hurt. They can't admit that their life is a reflection of their choices, that everything they are today is because of what they did yesterday. And so they keep running, they keep pretending, they keep telling themselves that they are different, that they are not the same person they were when they made that mistake, when they crossed that line, when they lost that chance. But deep down, they know, don't they? They know that they are the same. They know that nothing has changed, because no matter how hard they try to deny it, no matter how many distractions they fill their lives with, regret is still there, still waiting, still reminding them that they can never outrun their past. But here's the thing they don't want to hear, the thing that they fear the most. Regret doesn't have to be a curse. It doesn't have to be something that ruins your life. It doesn't have to be something that chains you to the past forever. If you learn to face it, if you learn to accept it, if you learn to embrace it, not as something that defines you, but as something that teaches you something that makes you stronger, something that makes you wiser, you can turn regret into something that works for you instead of against you. It's not easy though, is it? It's not easy to look into the mirror and face the person you've become because of the things you've done. It's not easy to admit that your mistakes have shaped you, but that's the only way forward. The only way to truly move on is to stop running, to stop hiding, to stop pretending that regret doesn't exist, to stop pretending that you can just forget it and make it go away. The only way to find peace is to accept that regret will always be a part of you, but it doesn't have to control you. It doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to hold you hostage. So let them keep running. Let them keep trying to fill the empty space inside of them with distractions and lies. Let them keep trying to outrun regret, because in the end they will find out the hard way that there is no escape from it, no way to outrun it, no way to ignore it. All they will find is that regret will stay with them forever, a companion that never leaves, a shadow that follows them everywhere they go. And maybe, just maybe, when they finally stop running, when they finally stop pretending, when they finally face the truth, they will realize that the only way to find freedom is to accept the truth of their past and use it to shape a future that is not defined by regret, but by growth, by change, by the lessons learned from the mistakes they made. But until then, they will carry regret with them. They will carry it through every step they take. every choice they make, every moment of their life, because regret is the price they pay for trying to escape the truth of who they are. It's the very thing that haunts them, isn't it? The reality of the person they've become, forged by every mistake, every wrong turn, every reckless decision, every time they chose to ignore the better path. It stares them in the face every day. It's the ugly truth, the part they refuse to look at, the part they wish didn't exist. But it does. It's there. It always will be. And no matter how much they try to outrun it, to cover it up with false confidence, with new friends, new places, new distractions, it never truly goes away. It's always there, quietly waiting, lurking in the corners of their mind, reminding them that the past can never be erased. They could have been someone else, couldn't they? They could have made different choices. They could have taken that opportunity, said that thing, walked down that other road, not this one. But the truth is they didn't. They made the choices they made. They took the path they took. And now they have to live with it. There's no getting around it. That's the price they pay. The price for the careless words, the moments of weakness, the temptations that led them astray. Each decision that felt right at the time, but was wrong in the long run. Each mistake they tried to hide from the world. It's all part of them now. And no matter how far they run, it's going to stay part of them forever. But do you know what's worse? What truly stings more than the regret itself? It's the fact that they knew. They knew at some point. They knew the choice they were making, the mistake they were about to make. They felt it in their gut, that twinge of uncertainty, that warning sign that they chose to ignore. They knew, but they ignored it. Why? Because it felt easier to ignore it. It felt easier to give in to the moment, to follow the impulse, to give themselves a brief sense of satisfaction, rather than the long-term peace that comes with doing what's right. They chose the easy way out. They chose the immediate relief. And now, that relief has long faded, but the consequences, the regret, it stays. And it stays for as long as they draw breath. They have moments of clarity, don't they? Those brief instances when the noise dies down and they catch a glimpse of the truth that they've been running from. In those moments, it all becomes clear. They see who they truly are, the broken person, the lost person, the person full of mistakes and shortcomings. They see themselves, not as the person they tell the world they are, but as the person they know they are deep down. The truth of their character, the truth of their flaws, their inability to change, to be better, it comes rushing in. And for a second, just a second, it's almost too much to bear. But then they push it away again. They shut it down. They distract themselves. They hide behind the people they surround themselves with, behind their work, behind their busy schedules, behind everything they can find to drown out the truth. It's easier that way. It's easier to ignore it, to pretend it doesn't exist, to pretend they're not that person, that they're better than this, that they can do better, that they will be different next time. But when will the next time come? When will the moment arrive where they'll finally make the choice they know they should have made all along? How long will they keep running? How long will they keep pretending that they aren't the person who made that mistake, who hurt that person, who wasted that opportunity, who threw it all away? What's even worse, though, is the nagging thought that perhaps they'll never change. Perhaps this is just who they are. They have tried, haven't they? They've tried to turn over a new leaf, tried to change, tried to break free from the cycle of mistakes. But nothing ever sticks, does it? They might have moments where they feel they're on the right path, where they feel the weight of regret start to lift, where they think, this time I'll do better. This time, I'll make the right choices. But then, inevitably, something happens. They slip. They fall back into old patterns. They make that same mistake again. And when that happens, the regret comes rushing back in, even stronger than before. They begin to wonder if they're even capable of change. And that's the thing, isn't it? The longer they try to run from their past, the longer they try to hide from their regrets, the less they truly change. They think that by simply moving forward, by simply putting one foot in front of the other, that they are leaving the past behind. But all they're doing is letting the past fester inside of them. They're carrying it with them, dragging it through every new experience, every new relationship, every new venture. It's like carrying a weight that they don't even realize is there. They think they're free because they've moved on. But the truth is, they're still shackled. They're still held back by the ghosts of their past. The fear, the doubt, the shame, they never go away. They lurk beneath the surface, waiting for the moment when they'll creep back into their thoughts, their decisions, their actions. And the worst part is, they begin to doubt themselves. They begin to question if they're even capable of real happiness, if they're capable of finding peace. Every time they think they're free of regret, it shows up again, reminding them that they are not, that they can never be. Not fully, not until they confront it, not until they finally stop running. But that takes courage, doesn't it? It takes an unimaginable amount of strength to look at the worst parts of yourself and face them. It takes courage to admit, I am flawed. I have hurt others, I have hurt myself, and I can't change what I've done, but I can change what I do moving forward. But they're not there yet, are they? No, they're still running, still hiding, still trying to pretend that the past doesn't exist, that the things they've done don't matter, that they can keep going without addressing the one thing that keeps pulling them back, their own regret. They keep telling themselves that the next time will be different, that the next decision will be better, that the next choice will be the one that defines them in a positive way. But they can't outrun it, can they? Regret isn't something you can outrun. It isn't something you can avoid. It's always there, lurking, waiting for the moment when they finally have to confront it. And when that moment comes, when they are finally forced to look regret in the eye, they will have a choice. They will have the choice to let it destroy them, to let it define them, to let it drag them down into despair. Or they will have the choice to acknowledge it, to accept that it's part of who they are, and to move forward with the knowledge that they are capable of growth, that they are capable of change, that they are not doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. It's not easy. It never is. But it is the only way out. It is the only way to break free from the cycle that has held them in its grip for so long. Until that moment comes, though, they will continue to run. They will continue to chase after distractions, after fleeting moments of peace, hoping that maybe, just maybe, they can outrun their regret. But deep down, they know. They know the truth. They know that regret will never leave. It will always be there, waiting, following, whispering in their ear, reminding them of the past they cannot escape. And they will keep running, forever searching for the peace they so desperately want, never realizing that the peace they seek isn't out there. It's in here, within themselves, waiting for them to stop running, stop hiding, and finally face the truth of who they are. Only then can they truly begin to move on. But moving on isn't about running faster. It's not about outpacing the past with distractions or false hopes. Moving on doesn't mean leaving behind what has shaped you. It's about learning to coexist with it, to embrace it, to let it fuel you instead of break you. Moving on is about acknowledging regret, about accepting that it has a place in your life, but doesn't get to dictate your future. Because you see, the most powerful thing that they have forgotten, the most powerful thing they refuse to see, is that regret doesn't have to control them unless they let it. It doesn't have to be the thing that defines their identity unless they choose to make it their defining characteristic. It's a part of them, yes, but it's not the whole of them. Not anymore. That's where the true challenge lies. It lies in the choice to stop being a slave to the past, to stop living in the shadow of decisions that cannot be undone, to stop allowing the actions of yesterday to haunt the possibilities of tomorrow. It's so easy, so tempting to be consumed by the what-ifs. What if I had said something different? What if I had chosen another path? What if I had stayed? What if I had left? These questions have a way of torturing the mind, keeping you stuck in a loop of what could have been, dragging you back over and over to moments that are long gone. And that, my friend, is where the poison lies, in the obsession with a past that cannot be changed. They can't go back. None of us can. The past is a collection of moments that have already passed. The people they were, the things they did, the words they spoke, those are all gone. They can never be recreated. And yet, so many of them waste their energy on trying to rewrite history, trying to undo what has already been done, trying to erase the indelible marks that have shaped their lives. But it's futile, isn't it? It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Every time they focus on the things they can't change, every time they replay that moment over and over in their mind, they are only adding fuel to the flames of regret. They aren't putting it out. They aren't moving past it. They're letting it consume them. The hardest part of moving on is understanding that it's not about forgetting. It's not about pretending that the past didn't happen or acting as if regret doesn't exist. It's about making peace with it. It's about forgiving yourself for being human. It's about accepting that you are not perfect. You are not some ideal version of yourself that never makes mistakes. You are someone who has stumbled, who has fallen, who has hurt others, who has hurt themselves. And that's okay, because we all do it. We all make mistakes. We all have regrets. The difference is, some of us allow regret to take over, to rule our lives, to trap us in a cycle of shame and guilt. But others learn to let go of that need for perfection, that desire to undo what has already been done, and choose to accept that they are not the sum of their mistakes. It's the decision to look at yourself in the mirror, to see all the things you've done, all the things you've failed to do, all the people you've hurt, and still choose to love yourself, to still believe that you are worthy of a future, to still believe that you have value even with all the mistakes you've made. That's the power they're missing. That's the power that will finally set them free. And it's not going to come easily. It's not going to be a simple, I forgive myself, and then walk away. No, this is the hard work of truly accepting who you are and making peace with the person you've been, the person you are, and the person you are becoming. It's acknowledging your flaws without letting them become your identity. It's looking at your past and saying, yes, I did that. But that is not who I am today. And even more difficult, perhaps, is realizing that the future will come with its own regrets. The road ahead will not be free from mistakes. They will make more bad choices. They will fail again. They will slip and fall and have to pick themselves up over and over. It's the nature of life. It's the price of living authentically, of choosing to take risks, of choosing to move forward instead of staying stuck. But what if they could see that each mistake doesn't have to destroy them? What if they could learn to embrace those moments too, to see them not as signs of their failure, but as opportunities for growth, as chances to rewrite their future by making better decisions, by learning the lessons of the past instead of trying to erase them? Here's the key. Regret doesn't have to keep them from the future. It doesn't have to lock them into a cycle of pain and despair. It doesn't have to make them think they are doomed to fail forever. The truth is, the greatest gift regret offers is not the chance to go back and change things, but the chance to do better next time. It's the opportunity to become a better version of yourself, to use the mistakes of yesterday to make the decisions of tomorrow better, to transform the pain of regret into the fuel for change. Regret is not a burden to bear for the rest of your life. It's a tool. It's a lesson. It's the catalyst for the person you have the potential to become. And so, they must stop running. They must stop looking for the easy way out, for the distractions that only delay the inevitable. Because the inevitable isn't something to fear. The inevitable is the moment when they stop running from themselves, when they stop hiding from their past, when they stop pretending that regret has all the power. Because it doesn't. They do. They have the power to choose how they react to the past. They have the power to decide that while they cannot change what they've done, they can choose who they are going to be in the future. They have the power to say, I regret that decision, but I won't let it define me. I won't let it control me. I will use it to build a better tomorrow. That's what moving on looks like. It's not about forgetting. It's not about pretending the past never happened. It's about taking ownership of the past, taking ownership of the mistakes, and using them to become something stronger, something wiser, something more authentic. The past has shaped them, yes, but it doesn't have to control them. Regret has its place, but it doesn't get to dictate the narrative of their life. They get to write that story. And if they choose to let regret shape their future, rather than their past, then they can create a future that is not haunted by the ghosts of what could have been, but empowered by the lessons learned from what was. But here's the real question. Will they take that step? Will they finally stop running? Will they finally face the truth and start using regret as the catalyst for their transformation? It's a hard journey, no doubt. It will take time. It will take effort. It will take moments of unbearable self-reflection. But in the end, it's the only way forward. Because until they embrace their past, until they confront the regrets that they've been carrying, they will remain stuck, trapped in a loop of shame and self-doubt. But if they choose to face it, to learn from it, to accept it, then they will free themselves. And that's the first step towards truly moving on. And when they do, when they finally let go of the weight of regret and use it as a stepping stone for something better, something stronger, something more meaningful, they'll see that it was never the regret that held them back. It was the refusal to accept it, to learn from it, to move forward with it that kept them stuck. But once they do that, once they stop fighting it and start using it, they'll finally break free. And that's when they can truly move on. In the end, regret is not a prison. It's a lesson. It's not something to escape, but something to understand, embrace, and learn from. When they stop running from their past, when they stop allowing regret to control them, they'll find the power to shape their future. Only by confronting their mistakes and accepting who they've been can they transform into who they want to become. Moving on isn't about forgetting. It's about using the past as a stepping stone to build a stronger, wiser, and more authentic self. The choice is theirs, and it starts with the decision to stop being defined by regret and to start defining themselves by their potential for growth.